Very good morning to one and all joining us for this pre-recorded show, recorded early doors on Friday, and this is for the Saturday meeting which takes place at Turffontein in Gauteng. And looking at the card, there looks to be 1 or 2 value propositions. As is the norm, racing's not easy, so we've got the expert on the line, Alistair Cohen. Firstly, Alistair, how do we find you this morning and what do you make of the card?
Good day, Sheldon. Good day to all the viewers. Standalone Saturday. Obviously, the doubleheader on Thursday was cut short, so only 12 races we had among the 2 venues. How do you find me? You find me on the balcony at the having breakfast at Turffontein in the very, very, very cold weather, but thankfully we won't have to worry about any rain on the half vault going into this card. I actually don't mind the card, to be honest. We're going to get winter fare for a while on the half vault, and there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the seasons, much like KZN out of season, much like Cape Town out of season. This is not properly Joburg out of season, but for a card that's not going to have anything running on Gold Cup Day, or very unlikely to have anything running on Gold Cup Day, I actually don't mind the card, so hopefully we can flesh our way through it. Just 8 races on the card, which is a little bit of a head-scratcher considering they're 10 on Thursday. That make more sense, obviously, for a weekend card to have the 10, but anyway, it is what it is, and let's try and make some cash.
Talking about making cash, the first race, the bookmakers can't split the top 2 in the betting. Number 1, Daisy Jones at 16-10. Number 2, Matcha Mint, 16-10. And then we have number 3, Rejuvenate. So numerical order 9-2. Now looking at Daisy Jones, only had the 2 runs to date, a 4th and a good 2nd from a 13 out of 13 draw. And then Matcha Mint from a 2 draw has been runner-up in the last 3 outings. Now Alistair, just out of interest, for the guys who like to look at their stats from the last 643 races, course and distance, the most number of winners have come from draws 2 and 4, which mean Daisy Jones and Matcha Mint on paper stand out.
Sure, Sheldon, I think you've studied this card infinitely harder than I have to know that type of stat. Look, as far as what the market is concerned, and as far as how I read it exactly the same way. I think Daisy Jones might just have a little bit more in her favour, being a little bit more lightly raced and having more in her favour this time around. When you mentioned she had the worst of the draws last time, over 1,400 metres on the Turffontein standside track. She was anything but disgraced behind Skipple. I know Skipple didn't rip up any trees at her next start, but she ran as if something did go amiss on that occasion. I think with a better draw, I think with Gavin Larena, who's absolutely starving at the moment, just hungry for what it is to try and catch that title. There's a lot in number 1, Daisy Jones' favour. She's a well-bred daughter of Quarari. There's not much stamina as far as the genetics are concerned about Daisy Jones, but with that said, she's done very little wrong to date. And it looks like she's coming along the right way. Number 2, Matcha Mint, got to be a big contender as well. Quite fancied her last time on Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge Day down at Hollywoodbets Greyville when she was just touched off by Blizzard Quest. She's got some good form lines. The horse who beat her in a penultimate start, Little Miss Million, has come out and won again, even at the second start, went second behind Brighton Brazen. Had she got away on terms and got a better start, she may have won that race. So I think that she's also overdue. I'm making an absolute boat race, much like the bookmakers do. I can't split them either. At a push, I'll go 1 from 2, but the bar pot is my suggested bet, and they're the only 2 horses in my play.
Talking about horses in your play, moving along to race number 2. Spanners in the work with lots of first-timers. Number 3, Babette's Feast. This is from the Mike de Kock stable and Karen Murray, the 2-year-old filly, 22-10. However, the money has come for number 7, Heavenly Good, from the Tony Peters stable and Gavin Larena, from 33-10 down 22-10. Then we go to number 2, Iconic Winter at 9-2, 9 Surprise Parties 5-1, and number 4, Comic Artist at around 11-2. Has there been any dogs barking about any of these first timers, in particular number 7, Heavenly Good, with the money coming early?
Yes, Sheldon, the answer is yes. There has been a few loud noises coming out of 2 camps into this race. 3 Babette's Feast and 7 Heavenly Good are the 2. I'm a little bit wary about this race because, Sheldon, as you can see, the race runners don't look like they hold the most compelling form. Easily the best race runner on offers, number 9, Surprise Party, who finished 5 lengths behind Valentina Balducci on debut. It was a St. John Grey horse who ran on Thursday, who failed to fire from that form line. But I think number 9, Surprise Party's got a lot of improvement to come. I would prefer to see her going over a mile before we can have all the confidence in the world. But if one of the first timers, rather none of the first timers are ready and raring to go, she could be the key horse in the race. But it sounds like 2 of the first timers are raring to go, and I'm also loath to leave out number 4, Comic Arts. So I've got 4 horses in the bar pot, 3, 4, 7, and 9. Let's start with number 3, Babette's Beast. I'm led to believe the inside draw, and probably also looking for a little bit further, is the angle with number 3, Babette's Beast. Trained by Mike and Matthew DeCock, Callan Murray takes the ride, but all these Ridgemont horses have stepped out all around the country and been ready and raring to go first up. Number 4, Comic Arts, as I mentioned, is in the play. I think Fabian Habib has 2 very nice first-timers on the card. The other one running a race later. And then number 7, Heavenly Good. I can tell you a little bit about this daughter of Heavenly Blue. Candace trains 2 of the siblings in the form of Player and Salute the Flag. Player, I think, is a 6-time winner. Salute the Flag, I think, is a 2 or 3-time winner. But it would be unthinkable to see them feature in a sprint. But yet Gavin Lorena's got on board for Tony Peter and the very lucky silks of Mr. Stinky Pooey. So there's a loud noise about number 7, Heavenly Good. And judging by the early support, they're expecting a big run. I think it's set up for a first-timer to win. And there could be a few nice ones that are involved here, Sheldon.
Talking about first-timers, they're once again ruling the roost when it comes to race number 3, making it not that easy with number 5, Echoes of War, and Echo Check, 33-10 and 7-2 respectively. They're both from the Fabian Habib stable, so I think the race time money will tell the story. And then a little nibble on number 10, Once in a Blue Moon, from 5-1 down 4-1. Amand Langawetu, number 1, is 5-1. And then another first time, number 3, Best Candidate at 6 and 7-1. And then we go 10s and better the rest. I'm going to hand the baton straight over to you, Alistair. Take it away.
All right, Sheldon. Paul Matchett is sitting 5 meters away from me. He can't hear me because there's a big door in the way. And he's got number 10, Once in a Blue Moon. Pilasande Paulie takes a ride. A filly taking on older company, therefore 54.5 kilos on this daughter of One World's back. On her debut, Sheldon, I said to myself, the next time she runs, I'm recommending her. I'm putting her up. It was such a good debut. I know she was beaten 4 1/4 lengths by Jazz Pianist, but if you want to know about a green horse and an unlucky horse not to finish half as close, then it's number 10, Once in a Blue Moon. She now goes 1,160 meters. The extra 160 meters, I think, will suit her ideally. And of the race runners, she sets a very high standard, and I can't see her missing the money. But the Fabian Habib horses, look, the key is, as you mentioned, let's follow the race time money and see what happens. Because even though number 7, God's Country, is ridden by Jason Gates, he takes a ride for a sponsor. It wouldn't surprise me to see that go quite well, number 7, God's Country. I think Fabian's got something here that's going to be good, that's going to be ready, and that's going to give it a full go. I'm led to believe it's number 5, Echoes of War, just out of instinct rather than knowing anything. But number 4, Echo Check, is a full brother to Atticus Finch, the Betway Summer Cup winner and competitor in the Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and you could probably expect him to be all right, judging by the full brother being your Grade 1 winner and a proper weight for age horse now. But all in all, I think the match at first time is the key horse in the race, so I've gone 5 and 10 in my bar pot. Thankfully, the first leg of the pick 6, you can use that first timer rule to your advantage. I can't see number 10, Once in a Blue Moon, not being the first race runner home.
Moving along to the next event with number 1, One Fell Swoop, 60 kilograms on the back. Gavin Lorena for Tony Peter with a merit rated 100, trading at around 4-1, 9-2. Number 2, Miss Argonaut, the improving 3-year-old daughter of Legislate. That is your ruling favourite at around 13-10. And then once you look beyond those, I think you can pretty much take your pick. Now, Alistair, I'm in the camp of number 1, One Fell Swoop, just on the company she's taken on in the past. But number 2, Miss Argonaut, she's got any amount of improvement still to come.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with just the two horses. I mean, I'm happy to bank number 2, Miss Argonaut in the bar pot, but in the pick 6, definitely number 1, One Fell Swoop goes in. As you say, the company she's kept, the horses that she's run with, and also the old cliche is you can give weight, but you can't give starts. She's giving weight, so that's one tick in the box, and she's got a lot of pace, so she's not going to be giving any start with number 1, One Fell Swoop. But I'm just leaning towards number 2, Miss Argonaut for the top selection here. Again, the De Kock and Callan Murray team up in Joburg, they're absolutely firing with 3 winners and a second from 4 runners on Sunday last week. I was actually taken aback being at Hollywoodbets Scottsville at the penultimate start on the Sprint Festival day when I chatted to Matthew in the parade ring, and he said, sure, this is a very, very good filly. She's got a big reputation, and I can see why. And she obviously needed that run to an extent, but she still made a lot of ground behind Vion's Web. And then last time she made light of Artiste, and I think Artiste would fit in with a huge chance in a race of this nature. Third run after a break, I mean, all the evidence is there of a big run from number 2, Miss Argonaut, so that's why with the 4-kilo turnaround that I'll just lean towards 2 from 1, but I'm, like I said, very comfortable with both of them in the play. If you were looking for an alternative, it could be number 3, Famous Lady, up to over a sprint. I know that she's run second at feature race level over 1,100 meters, has number 3, Famous Lady, but I think these days she's probably looking for a little bit further, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt as a competitor, as a dangerous runner in the race, only because she kept us alive in the PA last time out that we caught when running third behind Miss Cunningham when I really fancied her chances. But to the horse to beat, Biggest Danger won, no doubt about that, race number 4.
Radio, so looking at that betting there, taking a chance and hopefully going right into the eye of the storm. Next up is race number 5 with number 9, Godspeed, trading at 5 to 1. Let's just see, there could be a scratching here. Number 3, Lady of Memphis, so 15% deduction and therefore a lot of activity in the betting. But Alistair, there's almost 3 joint favourites at 5 to 1. What do you make of race number 5? I've gone through it. I can't make heads or tails of this race.
It's such a tricky race, Sheldon. I've gotten 5 horses in my bar, but I actually had 6. The scratching at number 3 just lightens the load a little bit here, and I've left out the Lorena runner for Johan Janssen van Vuren. They were obviously on fire on Thursday, and the former number 4, Saigon Susie. I just don't like those last 2 starts enough to put it into a bar pot that was going to spiral out of control from this race. My numbers are 6, 8, 10, 11, and 13. I'm going to talk about my top choice first. That's going to be number 11, Oriental Bouquet. I'm willing to give her 1, maybe 2 more chances. She fluffed her lines last time over 1,000 meters. Weirdly, when she's behaving poorly, she seems to run her best races, number 11, Oriental Bouquet. She should never in a million years have got beaten at her penultimate start at the VAR when she came out awkwardly. She made up a lot of ground. She also found interference when she was making a huge run over the closing stages when there was support for her. I think she's a little bit of a tease because a lot of the time with her late flourish, you get caught up with her and say, right, next time she runs, she's the one to be on, but she's going to reward you sooner rather than later. 818 days since her last win, number 11, Oriental Bouquet. Plus, she's got an outside draw. I know she's under sufferance, but on what she's shown when not winning and being unlucky, she's got to have a little bit in hand, number 11, Oriental Bouquet, but she's just simply not a filly that you can trust. Then my absolute lunatic here, number 10, Time for Charity, Sheldon. Perfectly in the handicap in the 77 level race, also with a high number draw down the straight at the Turffontein stand side track. I think off the sort of low 60 mark, she could be okay. She could just about be ready to pop. She'll also be coming from well off the pace, so luck and running is going to be a big factor with number 10, Time for Charity. Fani Bronkhorst trained the daughter of Time Thief, who's raising 6. But I think that she could be in the right place in the right time now, just to give a good account of herself with Kiratila Kichedi on. The other horses I've got on, as mentioned, 8, Blind Fire. Beat nothing last time, but beat nothing in good style with 50 kilos on her back and a high number draw on the pace that she's got. She's just got to keep a straight line to be dangerous. Number 6, Global Thunder. I was actually talked into her by Raheel last time, and even though she was a no-show, I had a good close look at her, and the way that she's just come down steadily in the rating, she's got to be very, very close. The best version of number 6, Global Thunder, would be a winner of this race. Obviously not at her best at the moment, but it looks like there's signs of her returning to some sort of form. And then number 13, Lady Loxton, just because relocating from Cape Town, we know how they can grow an extra leg at the altitude with a little bit of time, so I'm not prepared to leave her out. There's 6, 11, 10, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, my bar pot numbers here. if I'm one short, I'd advise punters just to go with instinct and maybe include one or two others. That's the trickiest race on the card. That's a field race in the pick six.
As we head into the zone of race number 6, are we going to be sipping cocktails into the sunset, or do we have a storm ahead, Alistair?
Sheldon, I put number 1 Molotov Cocktail in only because I heard a word about him at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Thursday, that they're expecting a massive run. And as you can see, I sent these selections at about 10 o'clock. I got to the course very early. There were a couple of early visitors to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth to see if we would start the meeting. And I got a word about this horse, number 1 Molotov Cocktail, obviously winning his maiden last time out, lightly raced, lot to come, impeccably well bred, related to Gimme Another. Second horse, Phil the Fluter, came out and won. Third horse, Chieftain Shield, has come out and won twice. Also ran last, came out and ran second. And Follow the Master, who ran midfield, also came out and ran second twice subsequently from that form. So the form lines all worked out very well behind Molotov Cocktail. My instinct, though, is that it's not going to be easy with a heavy weight going 2,000 meters. It's a massive step forward for him. If he is able to come through this, I'll take my hat off, and I'll thank the word on the streets in Cape Town on Thursday. But he is my third selection, number 1 Molotov Cocktail. I have an inkling he might be biting off a little bit more than he can chew. The two horses that I was leaning towards initially are numbers 3 and 9. Number 3, Dual Prophecy, half brother to See It Again. I thought his 2 runs back from a long break had been admirable, especially his last run where he was doing some low-level flying from the back of the field to finish third behind Aladdin's Lamp. Aladdin's Lamp has done nothing wrong in Johannesburg. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see him target a few nice long-distance races this season. The direct winner from that form line was Rosie Lemon, who won the day after the Hollywoodbets Durbanville in July. And then number 9 on the card also goes in Game It. Game It, just for pure consistency, nearly snared a victory from Cartagena last time out. Cartagena's completed a hat-trick of wins in the process, and just for, like I said, pure consistency and the blinkers coming off last time, turning that sort of well-beaten placed form around into a near miss. I think that he deserves the time of day, number 9 Gamer. So 1, 3 and 9, the horses I've rode in with in my bipod, but like I said, I put number 1 in simply out of whispers rather than my gut feel.
Rightio, we move on to race number 7. So for those looking to play the last double on the card, races 7 and 8. Well, all I'm going to say is that number 9, the jury's out. Tell us a bit about the Candace Dawson runner, please.
Sure, Sheldon, he's doing very, very nicely. He returned from a break last time out in a sprint where expectations were obviously low. He didn't run all that badly, beaten 8 lengths by Banff. Jury's out, just simply not going to win a sprint, not even a bad maiden sprint or a low-grade maiden sprint. But now going the trip for the first time, draw 1 with Gavin Lorena on board. I cannot put anyone off. Winners from that form line include Shai Havana, who finished behind Jury's Out, and Richard the First, who finished up about 3 lengths in front of Jury's Out. And then place getters Guy Gibson, Night Bomber, they've all come out and run places. Black Egret as well. Passage of Power on Thursday, running a near 4th as well. So the forms all worked out well from that sprint when obviously Jury's Out was just warming up and brushing off the cobwebs after a break. Little bit of a concern that he just doesn't quite get the job done. I mean, he's honest in the fact that he runs his race and never disgraced, but he just hasn't got his nose in front for a while, so he might be a little low on confidence. But Gavin Lorena was very quick to call for the rider number 9, Jury's Out. Big player, can't put anyone off. If you go back to the run on the 5th of December, finished in front of Willow Express and finished in front of Argo Alley, and has a useful spread of their weights, sort of being 2 kilos worse off, but that should be enough to keep him ahead. 24th of February, finished in front of Wafif and Argo Alley as well, the Jury's Out, and should safely keep them at bay in that run to Zuzan. So I'd like to believe that if not winning, number 9 Jury's Out will go very, very close indeed. A couple of horses that have been on my radar, and here, I'll tell you the best horse in the race is by Country Mile. That's number 2 Bacchus, but he's gone wayward. His behavior, I don't know what's happened to him, but he's a seriously good horse. If Fabian Habib can just get him to focus a little bit. I mean, he does weird things on the way down to the start. He gazes and then he bucks and he gives the riders a hard time. If Samango Kamala can keep a lid on him, every chance that this horse is going to pop up, and if he does pop up and he does have a going day, he can blow this field away, can number 2 Bacchus. But he's just, you'll know your fate on the way down to the start with him. Number 1 Weekend Goal now, probably now ready to give a good account of himself. You can see with the runs on the half felt he's got better and close, and he's run to nice horses. He's got to give a bit of weight away, but I wouldn't write off his chances. And the horse that's really been on my radar for a while, Running short of patience with him, but number 5, Command Pilot. He's a horse that I would put into my pick 6 because I think he's good enough. Maybe not genuine enough, but definitely good enough to consider number 5, Command Pilot. But all in all, 9 juries out, optimistic that he'll be in the top 3 at worst, and he's definitely got a winning chance.
That'll take us on to the closing event, which is race number 8, and it's one of those cards where there's no real short price favourites. They're betting races where you can throw a blanket over the field, and race number 8 is no different. Number 12, Prime Venture at 7-2. Number 3, Birthright, 5-1. Number 7, the Playboy Bomber is at 6-1, and number 5, Knight of Numbers from 10-1 is down 7 and 8-1. Alistair, all I can say is take away race number 8, please.
Look, I think, Sheldon, there are a couple that we can rule out just because of the ordinary form that they're bringing into the picture, but that still sort of leaves you with more than half the field of winning chances. The key horse here is number 12, Prime Venture, without a shadow of doubt, coming from Cape Town with form that generally translates very strongly to winning form. Gavin Larena and Baron Boots don't know each other, but they're teaming up here. I don't know who would have phoned who for the ride, but the fact that they're teaming up, something's afoot. With number 12, Prime Venture, I was waiting for him at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, number 12, Prime Venture, but sadly, Baron Boots will take a miracle to get back to the Cape at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Let's see how he goes on the Turffontein stand-side track. I think he might be, just knowing the horse like I do, he might be a step better on the Turffontein inside track, but still he's got the profile, he's got the form, and the consistency in Cape Town to definitely be a huge chance on Halfeld debut. But it's difficult to put a line through too many of these. Like I said, Sheldon, 3, Birthright, I want to see him in a sprint. I'm surprised to see him back going over a mile. I really liked him last time out when he ran 4th behind Richard the First. I still want to see him 1400 metres or even better a sprint. Number 3, Birthright, he's such a fierce galloper, is the son of William Longsword, and I think he takes too much out of himself to be a force. So I'll give him more of a place chance than a winning chance here. Raymond Danielson and Warhawk Bomber get on really well, the son of Lancaster Bomber, so throw him into your play. The Playboy Bomber on the back of a last win, which was good from a deep draw, full of merit from number 7, the Playboy Bomber. Bloomington I just prefer on the inside track to the stand side track. You can see his record on the stand side track is pretty ordinary. And then number 9, Eiffel Tower, got a hefty penalty for being a winner and a deserved penalty as well for being a winner at the penultimate start, followed up with a very good run behind Claw. That form line has really sparked up very strongly, with Claw being a direct winner, Count Hutiku being a direct winner and key element as well, and the likes of Bacchus on that race as well. So that's got to bring this horse Eiffel Tower bang into the play. So like I said, about half the field have strong winning chances here, Sheldon. It's one of those races where, again, you have to stretch the budget, but I'm pretty happy with going light in a couple of the middle races that might just save our bacon.
There you've heard from Alistair, going light in a few of the races, and there's a few of the races where you're going to have to go as wide as your budget will allow. Now, Alistair, we're going to bring up your suggested bet on screen for all your followers out there. If you wouldn't mind, please going through your suggested numbers, please.
Yep, so it's about what, Sheldon, a little bit of a later start on a Saturday. It's about an hour and a half later than what we started the previous Saturday. Barpot gets underway at 1:45, 1 and 2 in the first leg. Daisy Jones and Match a Mint by 3, 4, 7 and 9. Babette's Feast, Comic Artist, Heavenly Good and Surprise Party. Funny enough, by the time that Barpot gets underway, you might not need 4. Just check how the market's going along. That's 4 runners, not number 4. Then 5 and 10, Echoes of War and Once in a Blue Moon, although I expect Once in a Blue Moon to be hard to beat. By Banker 2, Miss Argonaut. Lots of horses in race 5. 6, Global Thunder. 8, Blind Fire. Number 10 on the card, Time for Charity. 11, Oriental Bouquet. And 13, Lady Loxton. And final leg 1, 3 and 9, Molotov Cocktail, Dual Prophecy and Gamer.
Well, thanks very much, Alistair. As is always appreciated, your time and all your valuable selections. So thanks very much and have a wonderful day's racing.
Thanks, Sheldon. Same to you. Same to all the viewers. Have a wonderful weekend and we'll catch up again soon.
Thanks very much to Alistair Cohen joining us on the line, going through the Turffontein card. You've got the lowdowns, and hopefully those horses will come through and do it for you as the punter on the course.